Hello everyone, myself Devdarshan. Today we are going to see about the topic on the role of API in model web service. Today's agenda which is based on API definitions, benefits, design, security and future trends. And then it is also enable a seamless integration and innovation and scalability for today's application. First of all, we will see about what is API. An API, which is called as an application programming interface, it is act as an intermediate between two software systems and enable communication between the two software systems and for the data exchanges. And then the functions of the APIs are which is used to handle requests between the systems. After the request, they would respond to each other, and then for the data transferring, and then it is based on some authentication securities. And then we will see about the example of API, which is common API architecture includes REST, SOAP, and graphical QL. And then the next part of the API, which is based on evaluation of API. First, yearly web service, which is SOAP and XML. The SOAP, which is called as Simple Object Access Protocol, it is a more advanced texture protocol which uses still XML plus HTTP. And then it is mostly used in enterprise system, for example Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics. And then the next thing, which is XML RPC, which is XML remote procedure call. It is an early API protocol that uses XML to send request and HTTP for transport. It is simple but limited. And then it is also only supported for basic data types like string and integer. And the rise of the rest, which is called as a representation state transfer. It is a lightweight way to design API, which is not like older protocols like SOAP or XML RPC, which use the simple HTTP request to return data in JSON. It provides the simplicity and scalability. And next is microservice. A microservice are a way of building software by breaking into small independent services like mini apps, which microservice architecture adopt API first design. And then which is and the current trends are GraphQL, GPRC and WebStocks of graining tradition. And then the next part of the API, which is based on key benefits. It is increased agility like faster development cycle boost productivity, and then enhanced interoperability, which is seamless data exchange between systems. Then for the expand reach, it is integration with the new platforms and devices for effectiveness. Then new revenue, which is modernized data and service for probability like data service. And then the next part of API, which is use case like real world example. You can see in e-commerce, social media, mapping service, and cloud computing. In particularly e-commerce, which is an payment gateway like Stripe and PayPal. For the social media, which we can use data by Twitter and Facebook like API. Then for the map service, which is a map using Google Maps like API. Then for the cloud computing, which is a managed infrastructure via AWS, which is a Amazon Web Service like the server E2 and storage S3 and database RDS like etc. And then the next part of the API, which is API design best practices. In that there is helpful principles which follows the principle such as statelessness and resource based URLs. Then for the version, which is the API that maintains backward compatibility like V1 and V2. Then for the API documentation, which is maintaining the clear document for the usage of OpenAI. Then for the security, which use more importance and encryptions for the process. And then the next is which is API security, which is protecting your data. For that, the common threats, which is injection attacks and data breaches. Then for the security measure, which is input validation and encryptions and access control of the framework. Then for the API gateway, which is for a centralized security that use some of security policies and monitoring traffic with the Kong or API. Then for the API management, which is ensure reliability, that is an uptime. Then for the user catching to improve response time, like by frequency as data. Then for the monitoring, which is 24/7 tracking API usage and identify issues in real time. Then for the next thing, which is the future of APIs, like trends and innovations. In first, it is serverless API, which is an auto scaling and pay as you go model. The next stage is AI powered API, which is a machine learning service that is used to train a model. Then for event driven API, which is used in a real time data stream to for the webhooks. And at last, the conclusions of API, which is the APIs are the backbones of scalable, flexible application, and adopting API first designs and best practical is critical. Then for the future web, which is API driven.